Hey, greetings, everyone. Lieutenant Colonel Alan West here, the old school patriot. And I just want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules and your evening to join us here for another one of our every other week Facebook Live event. Of course, been kind of busy, have not been able to keep up with that every other week schedule, but we're going to knock it out this week. And there's a lot to talk about. First of all, I just want to send out a special shout out to some dear friends of mine that they are all on the 25th anniversary of the Kyle Petty charity motorcycle ride across country, across America. Great organization. Thank God I had the opportunity 5 years ago on the 20th anniversary of the Kyle Petty charity ride across America. We started out in Carlsbad, California, ended up in Daytona Beach, Florida. It's an incredible charity. They raise money for a disabled kids camp back in North Carolina. And of course, Kyle Petty is the son of the king, Richard Petty. And I had a great opportunity to meet Richard Petty on a couple of the rides. I was supposed to head up there and link up with them in Childress, Texas tonight, but we got some pretty bad storms that are coming through the area here in North Texas starting tonight and through tomorrow. So I kind of figured it might be a good thing to not jump on the motorcycle and take that about 3.5 hour trip up from Dallas here at Garland to Childress, Texas. But still, I just want to again send a shout out to my dear friend Kyle Petty, his wife Morgan Petty. They just had their beautiful young child, and just thank them on the 25th anniversary of the Kyle Petty charity ride across America. Another thing I want to bring to your attention, and some of you all saw the pictures of it, I had the opportunity once again every year to be a part of the Dallas Independent School District High School Junior ROTC Academic Excellence Award ceremony. When I got here, I got linked up with the high school junior ROTC senior Army instructor and his command sergeant major, two great men. And I just want to make sure that I give back to a program that gave so much to me. I first started high school junior ROTC back in Atlanta at Grady High School in 1976. I ended up becoming the cadet battalion commander and, of course, went on to the University of Tennessee, earned my commission there as a second lieutenant, and the rest is history. But for whatever reason, those four instructors there, Lieutenant Colonel Pagonis, Major Heredia, Master Sergeant Buchanan, and Sergeant First Class McMichael, all Korean War, Vietnam War veterans, saw something in me that I did not realize was there in myself. And I just want to thank those men who have gone on to the Valhalla in the sky, but I'll see them again, that special place where soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen all gather up in heaven. But I challenge you to go out and find a high school junior ROTC program in your local cities and sponsor an academic excellence award. And if you want to kind of get an idea, just call the Dallas Independent School District High School Junior ROTC program and talk to the Lieutenant Colonel and talk to the Command Sergeant Major Lonnie Clark there, and they can tell you exactly what they're doing. And when you're there with these young kids, it's just an inspiration, because these are the kids that will be our future leaders. And when you talk to them, and I met a young girl today that she said she wants to be a Navy SEAL. And I said, I tell you what, yeah, get tough, get hard, and do your best, and don't let anyone lower the standards for you. So please go out and find a high school junior ROTC program. And it doesn't take a lot, it just takes a little bit of your time. Every year for about $400, I pay for those awards and I sponsor that academic excellence recognition ceremony. Let me tell you something. The faces on those kids, they light up when they get awarded their program, the fourth, the third, the second, or the first place championship. Bryan Adams High School here in Dallas, Texas, they won it for 3 years in a row. So congratulations to the high school junior ROTC cadets, Army cadets at Bryan Adams High School for their third consecutive win of the Dallas Independent School District Congressman Lieutenant Colonel Alan West Academic Excellence Award. Well, now, that's all the great stuff. Let's get to some of the other things that are going on, because as normal, I kind of share thoughts and perspectives and insights with you all for about the first 15 minutes. And then I go over and I read what is happening in your thoughts and then what the questions you want to pose to me. So first of all, as some of y'all saw, I had the opportunity to be in Philadelphia Sunday and Monday got that Geno's steak, and I know everyone telling me that there's another place right across the street. I saw it, but I can't eat two Philly cheesesteaks. Okay, folks, I'm almost 60, trying to stay in good shape here. So I will definitely be coming back to Philadelphia, and I'll get another Philly cheesesteak so I can do that comparative analysis. But what is so troubling about me, what happened in the city of brotherly love of Philadelphia, the city that is the real birthplace of the United States of America, our constitutional republic. When you think about our Declaration of Independence, our Constitution was there. It's this video from this Islamic center in Philadelphia of these little children that are singing about being the members of the army of Allah and about beheading people and harming people and hurting people. This is a hate video. But we should not be surprised because the organization that is in charge of that Islamic center is called the Muslim American Society. Now, why do I say we should not be surprised? Because if you know your history about the Muslim Brotherhood, the grandfather of Islamic terrorist organizations, here in the United States of America, in 1991, their strategic memorandum, their grand strategy, was written by a gentleman by the name of Muhammad Akram. It was discovered in 2004 in an FBI raid of a home in Northern Virginia. And it was translated and discovered as part of the largest Islamic terrorist funding case in the history of the United States of America. And it happened here in Texas. It's called the Holy Land Foundation case. And if you want to Google and read this thing on your own, it's called the Muslim Brotherhood Explanatory Memorandum for North America, meaning us. It's their scheme, it's their plan, it's their strategy. It's the means by which they're going to unleash what is written in there and called civilizational jihad on the United States of America. And one of the appendices to this document is a list of all the organizations that they intend to create and use to effect that civilizational jihad. One of those organizations, the Muslim American Society. Now, just ask yourself, if these were just, little Christian kids and they were singing about, killing or hurting someone, which you're not going to find, what would the public be saying? I mean, here we are in the United States of America where a Christian baker by the name of Jack Phillips has to go all the way to the Supreme Court to defend what was written in Philadelphia in the Bill of Rights, your very first liberty. Freedom of religion, free exercise thereof. You have Aaron and Melissa Klein, again, a couple of bakers out in Oregon, Sweet Cakes by Melissa. Their lives have been ruined because they're Christians. And they just said, we don't want to bake a cake for a same-sex wedding. You had Hobby Lobby, you had the Little Sisters of the Poor. They had to go up to the highest court in the land because of the contraceptive mandate as part of the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act, that thing that we call Obamacare. They had to go before the Supreme Court to defend their religious liberties and freedom. But yet here in the United States of America, at an Islamic center of an organization that is tied to the Muslim Brotherhood, who in most countries are classified as an Islamic terrorist organization, with links back to Hamas, freely operating, and having their children singing these absolutely horrific, barbaric little tunes. Can't be denied, can't be debated. Oh, by the way, where is Ilhan Omar on this? Where is Rashida Tlaib on this? Have you heard anything from the Council for American Islamic Relations, better known as CAIR? Well, of course not, because CAIR is an unindicted co-conspirator in that Holy Land Foundation case. They have ties to Hamas and the Muslim Brotherhood. But also, CAIR has an office on Capitol Hill. The civilizational jihad that Muhammad Akram wrote about in 1991 is happening. And here we are. How can we be so ignorant to have the enemy's grand strategy? They're telling us exactly what they want to do, and we dismiss it. No, 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 don't, they don't really mean that. No, 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 those little kids, they weren't really singing that. You know, we say, see something, say something, but unfortunately, we do nothing. See, I think that the mayor of Philadelphia, who I have not heard or seen him saying anything about this incident, he needs to stand up and say, we will not have this in this city, this American city, this city that is the birthplace of our constitutional republic, the birthplace of these United States of America. We're not going to have that here. But I, for whatever reason, don't think he has the intestinal fortitude to do that. Because for whatever reason, there is this unholy alliance between the progressive socialist left and militant Islamic jihadists. I mean, all you have to do is just go back and look at, how the former president of the United States of America, Barack Obama, just dismissed ISIS. They were just a JV team. How the former president of the United States of America, Barack Obama, just willy-nilly just continued to release all of those terrorists that we had captured on the battlefield out of Gitmo, to the point where now those 5 senior Taliban members, well, they're part of the Taliban peace negotiation. I don't think the Taliban got the memo. They're still fighting. They're still killing. And we continue to still look stupid. And that you have an enemy that is telling you exactly who they are and what they want to do. They're even indoctrinating their children to do it. And we do nothing. People of Philadelphia, you are the keepers of something very special. That's where the Liberty Bell is. That's where our Declaration of Independence was written. That's where our Constitution was voted upon. Please, stand up. I mean, if you go to Philadelphia with an opposing team sports jersey, you're going to get a major beatdown. So why do you allow the enemy to be in your city and you don't stand up to it? Speaking of the enemy and standing up to them, I got another little bit of great news that I do want to share. And that's the fact that President Donald Trump has pardoned Army First Lieutenant Michael Behena. Army Lieutenant Michael Behena he was put in prison for premeditated murder and killing a known Islamic terrorist in Iraq by the name of Ali Mansour, a man who had blood on his hands for killing some of the lieutenant's men. Now think about this. You are going to put our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, Coast Guardsmen, you're going to put our combat troops in jail for premeditated murder? I started out talking about Kyle Petty and his charity ride across America. Then why don't you just go to NASCAR race and write speeding tickets? If you're going to be putting our men and women in prison for premeditated murder, actually, that's what we send them into a combat zone to do, is to kill the enemy. Not to play nice and build bridges and roads and things of this nature, especially when you have an enemy as vile as militant Islamic jihadists in those states that sponsor it, like Iran. So Michael Behena is a free man. And interestingly enough, I read some very nasty, denigrating articles, Washington Post and some others. See, I know Michael Behena. I know his family. His mother, Vicky, and his dad, Scott. Vicky Behena was part of the prosecution team against Timothy McVeigh. Yeah, they live up there in Oklahoma City. Scott Behena is a law enforcement officer and also was a member of the Oklahoma Bureau of Investigation. See, these are people that have put it on the line for our country. And their son put his life on the line for our country. And to think that we have these progressive socialist cowards, these people in the media that want to sit back and demonize and denigrate and disparage a young American combat leader like Michael Behena. See, I did not hear these exact same voices from these outlets say a doggone thing when Bo Bergdahl went free. As a matter of fact, these are the same people that put Bradley Manning, and I'm not going to say that other name, because the Army tried, the Army sentenced, the Army imprisoned Bradley Manning for divulging hundreds of thousands of classified documents in the combat zone, which, under the strictest terms of the Uniform Code of Military Justice, the same with Bo Bergdahl, with desertion, should result in the punishment of death. But no, Bo Bergdahl is out there walking around free. Some people have even had the insane notion that Bo Bergdahl should be getting back pay for him traipsing over to the Taliban. Bo Bergdahl and his actions resulted in the loss of lives and the maiming and the wounding of American soldiers. Bradley Manning, his actions, his DNA is still a he. His actions resulted in the loss of lives of people that were our allies. But he's walking around free. Matter of fact, just ran for U.S. Senate up in Maryland. And these leftist, liberal, progressive, socialist media cowards would attack someone like Michael Behena. And I have not forgotten about Clint Lawrence either. Mr. President, CLINTLORANCE, pardon Clint Lawrence. Because just as what happened in the case with Michael Behena, the same thing happened with Clint Lawrence. Our United States Army withheld exculpatory evidence, the prosecution, to send our warriors to prison. But yet, a deserter walks free. A traitor walks free. Think about this. Ask yourself, what kind of country do we live in? Where we have an Islamic center that is sponsored by an organization that is tied to the Muslim Brotherhood, Hamas, indoctrinating its children into killing. What country do we live in where these elitist journalists would attack a young man who, yeah, he killed a guy, killed a terrorist, a known terrorist with blood on his hands. But yet, they say nothing when the deserters and the traitors walk free who have American blood on their hands. What kind of country do we want to live in? Where we have people like an Ilhan Omar that would stand up and take the side of a terrorist organization like Hamas against our best ally in the Middle East, Israel. And I got to tell you something about Representative Ilhan Omar. There's a village in Somalia that is really looking for its idiot to come back. Because anyone that would stand up and say that Gaza is occupied, and that's what Representative Omar, who sits on our House Foreign Affairs Committee, said about the Gaza Strip. Israelis have not been in Gaza for God knows, I think, 20 years. I remember the video of them dragging Jewish settlers out of Gaza. And what have they gotten in return for giving up Gaza? Rockets and missiles. Just recently, 4 Israelis lost their lives. But yet we have a member of our United States House of Representatives that sides with Hamas, a terrorist organization. My question to you, as I get ready to turn it over for your comments, is what kind of America are we living in? But what kind of America do we want to live in? With that being said, what are your questions? Jewel Cox, free Clint, I agree. Judy Stone, Clint Lawrence, no, CLINTLORANCE. Please send a email, make a phone call to the White House saying next, we've got to pardon Clint Lawrence. And then also Matt Goldstein, United States Army Special Forces Major. He needs to have his Special Forces tab reinstated back to him. And this whole thing about the bomb maker, the Taliban bomb maker that he killed, who cares? One less bomb maker we need to worry about, who also had American blood on his hands. So Matt Goldstein, that case needs to go away. Alan Book truly messed up. Well, you know what? When things are messed up, you can come in and you can clean it up. So let's be the folks that clean up this country. Samira Williamson, thank you for your voice. Thank you for tuning in and being here with me. Daniel Jensen, we live in a great country, sir. Absolutely, we do. But if we don't admit to ourselves that we have some challenges that we need to face, then that country may not be as great as it could be. And that's my concern right now. Mark Miller was proven to have the character you either despise or you know. Okay, I don't know who Mark Miller. Okay, whatever. Don DeWeese, Nancy Pelosi needs to take their place there, their place. Isn't it interesting how Nancy Pelosi was not too long ago on the cover of the Rolling Stone with Rashida Tlaib and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Ilhan Omar. I wonder if she's still go on the cover of the Rolling Stone with them now. Tells you a lot. Okay, let's see. Sheila Holland, she should not be in our Congress. You know, the people in Minnesota, well, they're the same people that voted in Al Franken, Jesse Ventura. They were the ones that voted Ilhan Omar in. I don't know if she'll be back, though. And also remember that Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez of New York, she only had 15,000 votes in the primary election. She didn't have a general election opponent. 15,000 votes put her in Congress. Think about it. Plato once said, one of the penalties for refusing to participate in politics is that you shall be governed by your inferiors. That still rings true today. Let's see. Linda Claus, she is deep with care. Yes, Representative Ilhan Omar is deep in with care. And if you go back and remember that speech that she was giving to them where she said 9/11 was when some people did something, and she talked about how CARE was started right after 9/11 to protect rights of Muslims. No, it wasn't. CARE was started right after that explanatory memorandum of the Muslim Brotherhood was written back in the 1990s. But then Gaza is also occupied territory. Like I said, there's a village in Somalia looking for his idiot. Let's see. Daniel Jensen, what do you think are the greatest challenges facing America and North Texas today? The greatest challenges facing America is for us to ask ourselves that simple question. Who are we and what do we want to be? When I was there today with those young people at Bryan Adams High School, I think they understand what America's about. You know why? Because they're being instructed. They're being taught and mentored by men and women that have been out there, been willing to lay down their lives for this country. Men and women that understand a little something about honor, integrity, and character, taking an oath to the Constitution of the United States of America. But see, we don't have a system of education in America. We have a system of indoctrination. And as we have more and more millennials and Generation Z who all of a sudden believe that socialism is a really cool thing, they don't understand what's happening in Venezuela, what Venezuela used to be. That's why I say, in a twinkling of an eye, something like that can happen here in the United States of America. We don't pay attention. I wrote today about how Spartacus Booker has come out with his gun confiscation disarmament plan. Tyranny cannot thrive when there are armed individuals. That's why our founding fathers put that Second Amendment right after the First Amendment, because it had to have enforceability. So I think the greatest problem that we have is that we don't understand who we are as an American people. We're erasing our history. It's being redefined. It's being revised, all for the purposes of, if subsequent generations don't know from whence they came, they don't know why they are where they are today, and their future can be completely manipulated. So that's our problem. Here in Texas, let me tell you what we need to do. We need to tell people what makes Texas unique. We need to talk to them about the Alamo, how a 26-year-old wrote that incredible letter, William Barrett Travis. We need to talk to them, take them down to Washington on the Brazos. We need to take them down to San Jacinto battlefield. They need to understand about that Texas rugged individualism. Because if not, people will continue to come here from other places, California, Illinois, New York, New Jersey, and they will do, well, I call it the Lot effect. Remember how God told Lot one thing only, is they were departing Sodom and Gomorrah. Don't look back. There are too many people that are moving here, not just to Texas, but other thriving, successful red states. And they're looking back and they're bringing their failed policies, ideologies, and principles right along with them. That's why we've got to take this mantle up, each and every one of us, and say, who are we? And who do we want to be as a country going into the future? Diane Browning, our children will suffer this indoctrination, yes, but let me tell you something. It doesn't have to be so. You know, and y'all have heard me say this before, the most important elected position in the United States of America, school board. Yeah, school board. But then what is also the election that has the least amount of voter participation? Yeah, you know where I'm going. School board. And then you ask yourself what is happening. See, when the progressive socialist leftists move into a successful red state, they go in and there are two things that they go after: city council and school board. Don't believe me? Talk to the people here in North Texas, Plano, everywhere else, Dallas, wherever. That's what they do. And then we ask ourselves, we scratch our heads like, what in the Sam Hill just happened? They have a grand strategy too, just like the Muslim Brotherhood did when they wrote it down in 1991. Ask Colorado, ask New Mexico, ask Arizona, ask Nevada, ask Virginia. Look at what's happening in Georgia. Look at what is happening in Tennessee. Look at what is happening in North Carolina. Coming in, they're taking over the major population centers, and they look to flip them. That's why I wrote that book, Hold Texas, Hold the Nation, Victory or Death, because it just looks at their blueprint. And someone needs to look at the Muslim Brotherhood blueprint. Remember what I said. When I finish here, just go Google it, Muslim Brotherhood Explanatory Memorandum. It's not hard read. I think it's between 35 and 39 pages. But it will grip you. Because this is what the enemy is saying they're going to do right here in our country. And to this date, no one has declared the Muslim Brotherhood a terrorist organization in the United States of America. And if we did that, all of those subsidiary groups that are listed in that appendix, they'd be gone. We could take action against them so that we don't have Islamic centers that are indoctrinating kids in the hatred that we saw in that video. Let's see. Christopher Baldwin, they already took our First Amendment. Nothing is stopping them from coming for the Second Amendment. Yes, they're going to come for it. You know, we still do have the right of free speech and freedom of expression, but it is severely being attacked and assaulted. These, you know, free speech zones. You got free speech anywhere. Wherever you can breathe air, you got free speech. And one of the worst violators of this, of course, is on our college and university campuses. Folks, you should, you know, dial up and see what's happening on your respective college campuses, where you graduate from, where you're an alumnus, where you send your money to. It's not just about cheering for them in, you know, college football, college basketball, or baseball, or whatever your favorite college sport is. It's about understanding what's happening on those college campuses and universities. It's about talking to your kids. Because if you're not talking to your kids, that professor there is talking to your kids, or that teacher is. So get engaged, get involved. Let's see. James Phillips, not all New Yorkers do that. I won't and never will. Most of my law enforcement friends also. James, I want to thank you for that. And you guys got a big stand to make. And look, you know, when you get outside of the New York City's, you know, metropolitan area and you get up in upstate, it's totally different. The people in Pennsylvania will tell you, and you've maybe heard this before, you've got Philadelphia and you got Pittsburgh. And in between, you got Alabama. But the problem in Pennsylvania is that those two metropolitan areas, that philosophy of progressive socialism expanding out into the surrounding counties, like Delaware County and Montgomery County in Philadelphia. And as those areas become more and more larger and larger as far as population, then that rural population in the middle, you just don't have enough. That's my concern about Texas. Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, Houston, El Paso, Corpus Christi, all those major population centers and surrounding area is being subsumed by the progressive socialist left, even in Texas. It's time to fight back. Last couple of questions. What are your thoughts on "So Help Me God" being omitted from swearing in oaths? Well, I got to tell you, when I took my oath as an officer in the United States Army back in 31 July 1982, it ended with "So Help Me God." We are a Judeo-Christian nation. That's our faith heritage. And we should not be ashamed of that. We want people of other faiths and religions and beliefs to come here to the United States of America, but we want them to respect and honor our faith tradition, our heritage. Founding fathers in the Declaration of Independence, two very important things. They clearly stated that your inalienable rights of life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness do not come from man. They come from your Creator. And at the end of the Declaration of Independence, they asked not for man's providence, will, guidance, wisdom. They asked for divine providence. David Barton is an incredible authority on our Judeo-Christian faith heritage and the foundation of the United States of America. You should check out some of his books, some of his writings, because we can't afford to lose that. I think Ronald Reagan once said, if we ever become, not become the one nation under God, we will be one nation gone under. He was a brilliant man, and his words were very strong. All right, last question, then I'm going to pop smoke out of here. Lilia Diane, will they lose their status? Okay, I didn't catch it. You scrolled by too fast. Mary Romano Britton. Oh, okay, you couldn't win. You guys are responding back to people, and so I couldn't get it. Jewel Cox, my conservative agricultural college campus now welcomes undocumented immigrants. Think about what happened in New York, where they decided to provide college assistance, free college assistance to illegal immigrants, but not to Gold Star families. What does that tell you about who we are? And these are the people that somehow have gotten to a position of elected authority in our United States of America. I don't get it. So it's our challenge. And I'm challenging you. 2 challenges from tonight's little session. Go out and find a high school junior ROTC program in your area and sponsor an academic excellence award program. If you want to know about how to do that, just call the folks here at the Dallas Independent School District and talk to their high school junior ROTC program leads, the senior Army instructor, the deputy senior Army instructor, and the senior non-commissioned officer instructor. Command Sergeant Major Lonnie Clark. He'll square your way. The second challenge is to first and foremost understand that you live in a constitutional republic and what that means, and go out and defend it. To the folks up in Philadelphia, I know how much you hate Dallas Cowboy fans, but what just happened in your city, it should disgust you far more than any Dallas Cowboy fan. And God bless you all. Have a great Tuesday evening. See you later. Bye-bye.